How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, the show where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, in episode number 142 of Uncut, we're going to be discussing Allen Robinson reporting to Bears minicamp, a surprise to some people, and talking about how he's going to perform in 2021. How does the addition of Justin Fields help Robinson? And based on him probably playing with the best quarterback he's played with in his career this year, will he finish top 5 in receiving yards? Those topics and more will be discussed today. But before we get into this, I would like to say you guys have been crushing it, and I mean crushing it recently with the support. So if you want Bears content every day of the week, we're trying to put up as much content as possible. And as you saw from our last Justin Fields video, we're going to try and start putting up some highlight clips, just stuff that we think you guys would be interested in seeing, as well as podcasts. We want to have the best and most comprehensive Bears coverage on the web. So we're going to be trying to bring you content each and every day of the week, whether it's some highlights, whether it's an episode of Uncut, whether it's an actual podcast. We're going to be bringing you guys coverage each and every day. So wherever you are listening right now, do us a favor and subscribe or follow and drop a like if you're watching on YouTube. I'm your host, Chris Mulpey, today to talk about Allen Robinson and him returning to the Bears. I am joined with my co-host, Parth Shaw. Trusty Parth, he's always here. He's been here a lot with me recently. But Parth, how's it going? And, man, how about the support recently, man?
Support's been great. I've been doing good, just relaxing. Summer's been good. Just started up with summer school class, but it's been pretty chill so far. But other than that, it's been nice. The weather's been warm. Hitting the beaches soon. Going out of town. Have vacation coming up, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm currently obviously not at my humble abode in Glen Ellen, but I'm up in Evanston doing some work. Hitting the White Sox game tonight. I'm a proud Cubs fan, but I'll support the Sox when they're not playing the Cubs. And they've got the Rays tonight, so game one was a good one. We've got How?
Dallas
Keuchel. We've got him pitching tonight, so it should be a good one. Two good teams, and I got a ticket for $13, so take a little purple line to a red line down to the Sox game, and should be a good time. But yeah, I love Evanston. It's good being up here. But it's good recording again. We said it. The support's been ridiculous lately. We're trying to hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the month, and we should be able to do that. We're getting real close, within about 80 subs. But let's talk about Allen Robinson today. The report came out yesterday that he was going to report to minicamp. Does the addition of Justin Fields have to do anything with that? Not sure, but it's good to see him coming in and being able to play and still commit to this team, because there's been so much drama with Robinson throughout time. So let's talk about this first. I mean, obviously we saw the Bears this morning post a picture of him saying he's back on social media. But, Parth, I want to start off with this. Do you think bringing in a quarterback like Justin Fields, someone who could possibly be the best quarterback that Robinson will have to play with throughout his career so far, obviously the majority of his career, Blake Bortles, Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles, do you think bringing in a quarterback like Fields will help out Robinson's progression in 2021?
Definitely. A wide receiver needs a good quarterback to flourish at the end of the day. And Allen Robinson's flourished without good quarterbacks. Mitch Trubisky, Blake Bortles, all these guys are borderline starters at best. And he's out here putting up 1,200 yards a season, almost 6-7 touchdowns a year, average-wise. So, Allen Robinson's only going to get better if you can bring in someone like Justin Fields. And if Fields lives up to the expectations and, does what we expect him to do, I think Allen Robinson would take off and put up some big numbers.
Yeah, and a lot of Allen Robinson's future definitely relies on Justin Fields. Just if he plays well, if Robinson gets all the catches he wants, if the Bears are winning games and actually playing good football, and Fields is looking like the quarterback that we all expect him to be, we could see Robinson get into a long-term extension, and we'll talk about that a little bit further down the road. But I absolutely think bringing in Fields is going to help Robinson's progression. Fields is someone who can hit throws at all levels of the field, short, intermediate, as well as the deep ball, which apparently has been beautiful so far in OTAs. Regardless of how Fields plays, I really think this will help Allen Robinson. I think eventually once we see Fields in, it's going to help Allen Robinson. And I even think bringing in someone like Andy Dalton is going to help Allen Robinson out a little bit more than someone like Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles was able to in Chicago. So I think Robinson's in for another big year. He's one of the best contested catchers in the league, one of the best deep ball targets. And I think he only continues to improve. I think he's the most underrated receiver in the league. So I think we see him put up another great year here in 2021. Let's talk a little bit about where he's going to finish, though, because that's very important. And when Fields eventually does hit the field is going to be really important as well, Parth. So obviously we all think Allen Robinson is a top 10 receiver in the league. Looks like he's trying to get closer and closer to that top 5 cusp, regardless of whether he stays in Chicago or leaves down the road. He's going to get paid big money, top 5 receiver money. So do you think this year, depending on when Fields comes in, that Robinson can finish with top 5 receiving yards this season?
Yeah, why not? Allen Robinson definitely can. Do I think he will? Probably not. I just feel like Darnell Mooney is going to have a lot
I think
more.
he'll be closer to the top 5 than he'll be closer to 11, 12.
Okay, I can see that. But I just feel like, Mooney, Kmet, all these guys are just going to be a lot more used in this offense. I think Justin Fields likes to, use all his receivers. So I don't expect Robinson, have 1,500 yards like Stephon Diggs did last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Robinson will definitely eclipse 1,000 yards. I don't think he's
100%.
going to be a top 5 receiver as much as I want to say he's going to be. The Bears have so much offensive talent. They're getting the Tariq Cohen, the dynamite player back, running back, and wide receiver. We saw David Montgomery have a solid receiving year in 2020. Darnell Mooney's going to continue to step up at wide receiver too. Anthony Miller's going to be looking for reps. Hopefully Daz Newsome will make an effect on the field. And then the tight ends. We saw Jimmy Graham say today that Cole Kmet, the sky's the limit for him, and he can do whatever he wants in this league. And then also Jimmy Graham's coming back. He was contemplating retirement after that playoff loss in the wild card round of the Saints, but he had quite the 2020, hauling in 8 touchdowns. So I do think the Bears have a lot of threats. I do think Robinson is one of the best wide receivers in the league, but I don't think he's ever going to be that top guy, at least in Chicago, just because the Bears like to spread the ball around in Matt Nagy's offense. And he is the top guy. I phrased that a little bit wrong, but I don't ever think he's going to be the receiver that we see consistently getting gone to in terms of like every other ball going towards him. The Bears do like to use Robinson in a lot of situations where they need a reliable receiver, but I do think they like to spread the ball around. So I think there are a lot of other receivers in the league that are going to be getting a lot of opportunities to catch a ton of balls. And I don't know if Robinson's going to be able to finish with top 5 receiving yards, but maybe touchdowns. I still think he's the most underrated receiver in the league, period. Let's talk a little bit about this before we close this one off, Parth. We've been talking about this on the show for about 2 years, and it came out this morning that Allen Robinson wants some money still. Obviously, more than Keenan Allen's getting when he signed that $18 million contract. That's about halfway guaranteed for about $80 million. So it seems like Robinson wants money in the range of about $80 to $20 million a year. And it came out last year that the Bears were willing to pay him about $15 to $17 million a year. I believe with this franchise tag, he's going to make about $18 million or just over that. But they have until July 15th to work out an extension. So do we see the Bears finally getting an extension done here with Robinson, or do you think we head into this same limbo next offseason?
I think we're going to head into the same limbo. I don't think Ryan Pace really wants to pay Allen Robinson $18 to $20 million. I don't see the Bears doing it just because of how our cap situation has been. And, it's been a tricky, especially because we had to cut Kyle Fuller. Once that happened, it definitely sucked to see that happen. And we're still in that cap hole. And then I don't think Ryan Pace wants to dig himself by paying Allen Robinson, who is a really good receiver by no means, but I don't think he earns that top $5 money for me.
I mean, if he doesn't earn it in Chicago, he's definitely going to
earn it somewhere else. I 100% agree with you.
I will say the one thing that I like about this situation and how it's playing out now, I think if the Bears eventually throw in Justin Fields and Allen Robinson's impressed by him, thinks he's playing well, thinks this team is going places, we could see an extension get done. I think a lot of the reason why Robinson is frustrated is because the talent surrounding him on offense hasn't been great.
Yeah.
While you can say, and I kind of agree with you on the statement that you said, where Pace may not want to pay him the money, we do see Pace finally committing to offense, bringing in a good offensive lineman and Tevin Jenkins, spending some money throughout the offensive line all offseason, obviously bringing in the franchise quarterback. So I do think if the Bears can have a successful 2021 season, then we could see Allen Robinson sign an extension. It's going to be tough to get him his money. He's definitely demanding top dollar, and I don't blame him whatsoever. I hope they can get an extension done, but I really do think it comes down to how does the 2021 season go? Do the Bears make the playoffs? Does Justin Fields play good football? And does Robinson see a bright future in Chicago? Because definitely after last season, when a lot of the signs were pointing towards him wanting to get out, I completely understand why, because things were pointing downhill. But now the Bears do have the third toughest strength of schedule in the league, but they've got their franchise quarterback. So a lot on Justin Fields' shoulders this offseason, and part of it definitely falls on whether or not we'll see Allen Robinson in a Bears uniform past 2021. So it should be very interesting. Comment down below, guys, before you go, whether or not you think Allen Robinson will have top 5 receiving yards in 2021. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 142 of Uncut. Do us a favor, drop a like on this video if you haven't already, and subscribe. Follow us on all platforms for Bears content every day of the week. The support has been wild lately, and we are going to keep coming to you guys with more and more content. If you want more content from us outside of our podcasts, head over to our website, beareddown.com. We just started posting on there again, got some off-season content up and rolling, so be sure to check it out. There's a ton of people that work hard behind the scenes. Also, we plan on putting some merchandise out soon, so be on the lookout for that. We're trying to design some stuff and get you guys some good-looking gear. If you would like to find the podcast on Instagram and Twitter, you can find it on both platforms at Beared Down. It's a great way to interact with us, see some guests we're going to have on the show, also enter our giveaways. I'm sure in either July or August, we're going to be giving away a Justin Fields jersey. We know you guys want that really badly, so at Beared Down on Instagram and Twitter. And finally, you can find the links to all of our social media pages down in the description. Myself, as well as Parth, Zach, and Jaylen. It's a great way to interact with us, especially our Twitter pages. We're very active on those platforms. I'm going to be tweeting at the White Sox game tonight. I'm sure Parth's going to be a little bit jealous, but he'll get over it. But the links to our Instagram and Twitter pages are down in the description. Great way to interact with us, see our thoughts on all things Chicago sports, all things Bears, and all things National Football League. Parth Shaw, Tuesday, we're getting towards hump day already. Definitely a big week, but 1 week closer to training camp, 1 week back to you and I being in person together, and being in person at training camp. It's going to be a ton of fun doing some vlogging out there, talking to a lot of Bears fans. But any last words before we close this one out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super hyped for training camp this year. We didn't get to go last year, obviously.
I think we can make like an abundance of content too.
Yeah, content.
Ask a ton of Bears fans how they think the team's going to do. Hopefully talk to some players, some coaches. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like we're going to have a great time down there. You guys should comment when you guys go so we know who to look out for and stuff. And that's about it. I'm pretty excited. Have a great time at the Sox game. Hopefully they pull out a win tonight. Hopefully they do. It's a tough game. The Rays are a really good team. And I'll be at Top Golf watching it, so I'll have a great time there too.
Hey, that's a solid option, man. Top Golf Tuesdays, I know it's half price.
Yeah, half price, exactly.
Solid. Where are you going, Naperville?
I'm going to Schaumburg. I have friends down that way.
Oh, okay. Solid. Yeah. And that one's pretty new, but yeah, a lot to be hopeful for in Chicago right now. The White Sox are killing it. The Cubs lost last night. They've won 5 of 6, just swept the Cardinals, but lost to the Mets. Chicago really owns baseball right now, so I'm really digging it up and loving it. And obviously a lot to look forward to with the Bears as the summer continues. So we're going to keep the content coming for you guys, and it should be a lot of fun. So be sure to join the ride with us. Guys, it's been a pleasure to be your host once again. My name is Chris Malpe. Bears fans, as always, do us a favor and stay safe and bear down. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.